matter of do more, it's just different.
Okay, I'd like to add the same question for the Supreme Magus of the SRIC.
You're on, John.
John yes, how do you feel the benefits that your society gives, and given that it is a Christian society, how does maybe to tie that into the question as well, that it is from a Christian point of view?
Well, so far as societies are concerned, whether it be Masonic or whether it be necessarily the Christian Church, I think that in fact it depends on where, when, and with whom it's situated. Many people have some sort of interest in all of these things, but very few would go to church. Very few actually decide that they want to become Masons. All that our societies can do is to offer the opportunity. But if the opportunity is there, you will usually find there will be one or two people who will seize on the opportunity. But I'm bound to say that in my experience, the vast majority will not. I'm minded, in fact, of a teacher who's, I'm sure, has been across to Canada. I know he's been to New York. A person by the name of Warren Kenton. He writes under the pen name of Halevi. And Warren always said, never listen to what anybody says. Observe what they do. And therefore, we are beholden, as Rosicrucians, or as Masons, to actually live by experience and to be signposts for others. No more, no less. You can't persuade somebody, but you can be a signpost. But above all, there was one great Englishman who I have the utmost feeling for, who lived way back in Elizabethan times, and that was Sir Thomas More, who on point of principle was willing to have his head chopped off. And he said one thing which I actually put, and which was then misquoted from me some little while back. But he said one most important thing, which I would urge everybody to consider. And it matters not whether they're Christian, whether they're Jewish, whether they're Buddhist, or whatever. And he simply said, do no one harm. And if every member of the Masonic world, if every member of the Rosicrucian world was to just do that, those few words, I would say that we would then be living by example. And I commend that statement. Do no one harm.
I'd like to extend the same question for the Society of Light. Servants of the Light, sorry. I'm very new to...
Well, thank you. I feel like saying me too, me too, me too, all the way around. But to sort of carry the discussion a little further, the Servants of the Light work on my personal agenda that I've tried to follow since I became an adult. Joining churches that sought the inner light, joining societies that try to help in the process of the inner light. As a student, I was, without getting into politics and Masonic lodges, that wanted some change, some very revolutionary change. And very early in that process, I realized if we were going to have the change, it had to start within each of us and every one. We had to find that light within us. And the problem is not the willingness to do that, the actual techniques to get with it. And I think the groups that we've got here, the light that we find in the Masonic organizations, in the Rosicrucian Masonic organizations, in the Society of the Inner Light, in the Servants of the Light, in the Golden Dawn, the metaphors they use are light, and we're looking for the light within so that we can make those changes and transformations in ourselves. In my working lodge in British Columbia, we cover the western region, the Cascadia region of Oregon and Washington and British Columbia, and we look at things from the point of view of how can we best spread out this light into the world, and we try to do it through ecology, through nature. That's something that people don't argue about too much, we can all agree on. We find the light in small ways, we use the techniques that we've got through all these organizations and then try to put it out, use it. And really doing no harm, doing no wrong, and trying to make things a little better along the way if we can, starting within ourselves is where I see not just the servants of the light, but all of these groups going.
So, okay. So I ask the audience, is there anything mysterious that you would like to answer?
First a comment, then the question. The comment, as Rosicrucians, we are also perhaps required to do good, to heal, and there's no recompense. My question is really to the Angli, to most worthy. How well authenticated are the documents found in the library of the Grand Lodge of England, which gave rise to Masonic Rosicrucianism?
John, the question is about the authenticity of your origin.
Well, now that's an interesting one. How authentic are they? That's difficult. Now, I'll be perfectly honest. I've never had access to any documentation at Grand Lodge. My assumption of this position was one which I never expected, and I have never researched, I'll be perfectly honest, the legality, the authenticity of the various papers from where we came from. So I have to admit that I can't shed any great light on the question that you ask, which is embarrassing for me, really. I should be able to stand here and to pontificate on, oh well, there's a document number 1, 2, 3, or 5, 6, 7 that's there in that second drawer down, which is in fact absolutely authentic, but the one above it is not. So that I cannot give you. The only thing that I would add is that mood is as important as word. Mood is as important as thought. And that I am sure that most of our societies have difficulty in establishing the exact origins of the society. But that it works, but that it engenders all that we've been talking about is beyond doubt. And therefore, to me, it's rather like some of the research lodges in England, where great play and great store is given on trying to research on the exact date that, say, Mozart was born, whether he was born upside down, whether he was born back to front, or whatever, and screeds of words, screeds of paper have been used in this sort of research. This may be quite heretical, but I'm afraid that, as I say, that leaves me cold. Because to me, the object of Masonry, the objects of our society, is in experience of life. And therefore, if a society was formed, which really had no legality whatsoever, if it was formed along Christian principles, if it embodied